So good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to do interview skills from unit number 3, that is technical communication. Interview skills are important skills that an individual should have, whether you want to do business or whether you want to do job, because you'll require it in either way. So it is actually one of the most widely used process for screening job applications. It actually allows a person to know uh, eligible candidates direct information like background, personalities, set of skills, etc. An interview could also be termed as a formal meeting at which someone is asked questions in order to find out if they are suitable for a job or a course of study or not. The different purposes of interview skills are selection, promotion, performance appraisal, exit opinions, and counseling as well. Overcoming nervousness. Nervousness is one of the things that occurs to us when we are afraid of something. Now, how can one overcome nervousness? There is a technique called the rowboat technique, which helps one overcome nervousness. It is a breathing technique where you breathe in and breathe out. You have deep breathing, which will help you remove nervousness. Right. Usually, one as a candidate for a job interview should think properly before you answer. Take pauses before you speak. There are I apologize for the technical error. So there are basically 4 types of interviews: job interviews, campus, on-site, telephone, and video conferencing. Now, campus interviews, from the name itself, you know, it are conducted in the campuses of colleges and universities, and companies inform the college campus as well as the students in advance. They may deliver a pre-placement talk or make a presentation about their company before they take the interview. And these kind of interviews are brief and to the point. On-site job interviews are interviews that are conducted in the company premises. The candidates are selected on the basis of their resume and they are informed about the face-to-face interview, the date, day, and the time of it. In comparison to campus interviews, on-site interviews are more detailed in nature. Next, we have got telephone interviews. This kind of interviews are conducted by companies via telephone. The candidates are shortlisted by talking to them, verifying their resume, and then they are given a confirmed date, time of an interview, and a confirmation email is sent. Telephonic interviews are shorter as compared to face-to-face interviews. Last is the video conferencing interviews. This kind of interviews are usually used by multinational companies for hiring people for senior posts. It is similar to face-to-face interviews, but it also has a touch of the modern technology. Next is media interviews. Remember, media interviews are not job interviews, but they are quite related to business, and that is why we should have a little knowledge about it. It is very important for maintaining public relations and also promoting various aspects of one's company like business, government policies, and awareness. The media personnels would be given a prior appointment for the interview, and it is necessary to focus on the topic and avoid distractions. One must pause, think, and answer questions in a way which does not create a negative impact of their company. So, is the statement true or false? Telephonic interviews are more detailed than campus interviews. Kindly mark your answers or type your answers in the chat box. Quick and correct answer. Statement is false. So, preparing for an interview, first you should know yourself. Remember, as I said, when we are making a resume, and that you cannot have the same resume for all different kinds of jobs that you apply to. You should always have a connection between what your educational background is to the position that the person is offering you to. You should always be able to give exact examples, not general examples, but personalized examples for different things. Next, you should know the employer. You should research, and research so that you have a very good idea about what kind of job roles will you be offered in your so-called prospective company. Next, interview preparation. You should know when, where, and how the interview is going to take place. Always arrive before time. Ideally, you should be 10 minutes early. Practice mock interview. Try to frame questions in your mind and try to address those questions. Remember, it is not only about your preparation of questions, it's also about your mental preparation and physical preparation as well. So, acquire a lot of rest. Do not look stressed and worn out, and dress for success. Apart from this, when you go for an interview in person, you need to be prepared with different things like extra copies of your resume, extra copies of your mark sheet and degrees, experience certificate, few blank pages as well, extra copies of your photographs to make notes. And remember to always carry a pen. You cannot be asking the interviewer that please can you give me a pen. The stages of the interview process. First stage is known as the icebreaker stage, which contains the greetings and initial first few minutes of the talk. Then personal qualifications and interest in the position. This is where you try to highlight your abilities, skills, work experience, your expertise that suit the position or the vacancy in the company. Then the organizational post. Person may want to taste your knowledge about the company and would like to know why do you want to work for a particular company. Everybody has a dream company in the mind. And uh, because nowadays it has become more multinational, multiple branches and offices, people would also like to know whether you are interested in moving to one place or the other place. Next, candidate question. Remember, interview is a communication process. So, communication is a two-way process. Not only does the interviewer ask questions, the interviewee can also ask questions. But remember, here, interview questions are meant to check whether you are eligible for the job or not. It's not sure whether you'll get the job or not. So, here you cannot be talking about your salary negotiation questions. Here you can, what you can ask is, will you be getting some training? What kind of job roles will you have? Will you have to travel to different places, or are you going to do desk work or field work? This kind of questions a candidate can ask. Then close and follow. This is where what happens next. The interview is taken. They do not declare the result on the spot. You are pass and you are fail. They have to interview a lot of candidates, right? So they will take a day time of a day or two. So what would here in the case, you will thank the interviewer, the interviewer will thank you, and then they will write a follow-up mail within 24 hours, so that they can intimate you about till when the result would be declared, right? And how will you declare the result? How will the candidate know whether he or she has cracked the interview or not? That is, they should be informing through the email. That is a very, very important aspect of a interview. What are tips for successful interviewing? One should think like an employer, and you should not criticize anybody. You should maintain professionalism even if the employer does not. You should not be talking about your personal aspects, because your personal aspects do not matter at your workplace. What matters is your professional and work skills. One should always be prepared for unexpected questions and have a positive body language. Remember, interview is a two-way process. Interview is a two-way process, so that's why it's very necessary for the candidate to ask questions. Try to develop a conversation instead of giving yes and no answers. One should listen carefully, think, pause, and then answer only. One should be specific while giving examples of their specialization and area of expertise. Remember, the interview begins the moment you step in to the company. One should be positive. So candidate should not maintain professionalism if the employer doesn't. Is the statement true or false? You're absolutely correct over here. The statement is false. We should always maintain professionalism and not take the interview to a personal side. So these are a few things that you are expected to do. You should dress appropriately and arrive in good time. Should take a positive aura and a positive body language. One must expect the unexpected, and a candidate must ask questions. Right. These are a few do's and don'ts of interview. I'm giving you 5 minutes of time to note this down. We have been discussing it over time throughout the PPT. So I'm giving you 5 minutes of time to have a look at it. I hope you have taken a note of the do's and don'ts of interview. There are a few reference material which you can refer to. So with this, we complete interview skills. Do you have any questions, queries? All right, I take this that you do not have any questions or queries. So we'll move on to the quiz. Just give me a minute and I'll share the quiz link with you. So there you go. You have got a quiz link for today's topic. You may start attempting the quiz now. I hope you have completed the quiz, and now we're going to start with presentation strategies, the last topic for unit number 3. So, presentation strategies. What is the first thing that you can think of when you hear the word presentation? What are the words that come to your mind? Let's say when I say apple, you can say a fruit, red color, green color, yellow color, mobile phone, laptop, right? Similarly, when I say the word presentation, what are the words that come to your mind? You may type your answers in the chat box. Very good to see that you have got words like PPT correct in spellings and vocabulary. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about presentation. Presentation actually add an extra charm to a person's speech, and as an old Chinese proverb says that what I hear I forget, what I see I remember, what I do I understand. So presentations make you understand more, and presentations are visual presentations help one a lot to explain maximum things in minimum words. So, what is presentation? Let us look at the definition. Presentation means the process of showing and explaining the content of a topic to an audience. And presentation skill means the ability to present a structured, prepared, and speech based means of communicating information, ideas, or arguments to a group of interested people in order to inform them, persuade them. What is the purpose of presentation? The purpose of presentation is to instruct, to inform, to entertain, to inspire or motivate, to activate or stimulate, to persuade. So, why is the purpose important? Remember, the purpose is important. You should know the why part. Every time when we talk about professional setups, we should know the why part. Why should we know the why part? If we do not know the why part, we do not know how much information is required and what kind of interaction will it be there. Let's say if the purpose is to provide information, the audience, the interaction with the audience would be limited. Whereas if you want to persuade or if you want to convince people, then you'll have to have a lot of interaction with the audience. Right? How will you convince the audience without interacting with them would be a question over here. So the purpose of the presentation decides the amount of information that is required while making the presentation. But remember, as a presenter, you should be flexible enough. If one of your information is not used properly, you should be flexible to uh, showing more portions of information and showing a little maturity when accepting information from audience as well. We'll not be doing this activity right now, but this is a small activity where you will be presenting about yourself. So please mark this as an important question from the exam point of view. Helpers to make presentation better. There are six helpers, six great helpers. They are actually the WH questions that we have been learning in our language learning skills. So, what are they? WH questions are why, who, where, when, what, and how. Why am I doing the presentation? Who is the audience? Where are we doing it? When is it happening? The time? What is it all about? And how we are doing it? Right? So, this is what it is all about. So, can you name the six great helpers that make presentation more effective? You may type your answers in the chat box. Excellent and correct. All the WH, why, who, where, when, what, and how. So one thing that one needs to do is one needs to analyze the audience before they start deciding upon what they have to do in their presentation. So why do you need to know the audience? Remember, we are performance and our presentation is meant for the audience only. So that's the reason these are few questions that we have over here which can help you decide upon what kind of things can you do with the audience. Right, so what are the interests, what are their likes, are they familiar with the topic or not, what's the size of the group, what is the age range, what kind of attitude the audience might carry, etc., could be quite helpful in making your presentation. Locale, or what we call it, the venue. We should know about the venue because each venue has its own unique environment. Maybe it's a long room or a small room. Now, why do we need to know about the location? We need to know about the location so that we can be also aware about it. Let's say we'll take the example of our college lab and lecture sessions, right? Where you take your lab sessions comparatively, the classroom is the classroom or the location of the lab is quite small as compared to the lecture rooms. Moreover, uh, it would also be a little different from the classroom because the number of students would also be less. So the teacher would have to speak a little slowly instead of speaking very loudly in this case over here. Next, you should also know the locale, because if you are willing to use a PowerPoint or you are willing to use anything else, does it have the facility or not is what you need to look at. Next, what are the 4 P's of presentation? Please mark this as an important question from the exam point of view. The 4 P's are plan, prepare, practice, and present. Plan. First, you need to plan what kind of a presentation do you wish to make, right? Then you need to prepare, you need to look, research, find out information that you would like to use in your presentation. Then one must also practice, right? You should be practicing what you wish to do, so that practice would help you become better. Practice would help you become better with whatever you have prepared, will also give you more confidence. And finally, after practicing, you must present. Next, please arrange it in a proper sequence, because it's a chronological event, it's a step-wise event. So arrange this properly. The 4 P's: present, plan, prepare, and practice. I'm giving you 2 minutes of time to arrange this information in the proper sequence. Absolutely correct. Plan, prepare, practice, and present. Structure of a presentation. The presentation has a structure called introduction, the main body, and conclusion. In the introduction, you have to say what you want to say. Main body is where you say exactly what you have decided, and conclusion means revising, reviewing, and concluding the major points of that topic. So in the introduction, please remember the words which are highlighted. They are important from the exam point of view. The porch. Remember, a presentation becomes good if you have a nice, catchy beginning. Now, this catchy beginning actually helps you catch the attention of the audience, and it is also called the porch. Now, if you see, there are words like anecdote. Anecdote means a small story that you narrate in between, and that you narrate, which is related to the topic that you are talking about. Next, it is always a good thing to prepare more material than required, as it will help one feel confident. One should always get on the stage before time, arrange their notes, look at all the preparation, so that at the exact moment of presentation, you do not feel nervousness doing the same. It is necessary to remember the first couple of lines or the first few sentences of your presentation so that you can make proper eye contact with the audience. It helps you move ahead easily. Begin with a smile. Smile is a way of connecting, making a connection or a bridge with the audience. It will give the audience a warm welcome, and it will also help you relax as well. Main body, this is the main discussion of the or the core part of any presentation. There are different patterns